Hey guys, this is GamerCal. Welcome back to weird intro stuff. I don't know. Welcome back to Touhou the Genius of Sephiroth. Last time we killed a bunch of dudes, and this place is so big that we still have a massive bunch of dudes left to kill. I just want to really quick point one thing out here when it comes to if you like grinding in these last areas. I killed this entire left-hand side last time, and the enemies are kind of still there. You know, like I've had to go out of the place a couple of times. Yes, this right hand side is everything kind of cleared, but was that one down there? I am seeing things. I thought I saw a ferry down there, but yeah, there's a lot of sort of respawning stuff when it comes to this. All you really need to do is to go outside of the stage and usually go into another environment on the overworld and occasionally heal. Like, healing circles tend to respawn some of the stuff, so even though we have already taken out a large portion of the enemies in this stage, we are not going to be able to clear them all out unless I do it like in one sitting stuff. So yeah, there is that, but I am going to sufficiently, you know, like kill off the rooms that we have not yet gone into, because I feel like that makes the most sense here, and it would help to get some of the party members up here. I really don't know how Notori's going to do in this place, but we'll find out as we go along. So Saki is still using the Kusanagi. Just a couple other things really. I've used a couple of the trapezohedrons I got and gold pieces in order to make level 4 accessory stuff here. So the Muscle Belt 4, it is 150 HP, which is awesome, and I could go back and get Muscle Belt 3 if I wanted now. I'll do that at some other point. And the other one is the Headshot Goggles 4, because this gives 60 accuracy. Notori's accuracy is really bad, and I still think this isn't really good enough, but it's as good as I'm gonna get just now, and I might try at some point. If I find I'm missing too much, I'm gonna have to try and find space somewhere on Sanai's set for accuracy increasing. I have no idea how I would do that though. I would probably have to take a buff skill off, which would most likely be Wind of Swords. I don't know. It's a tough call, but if I find I'm missing too much, then that's what I'm gonna do. So with that said, I am basically going to go ahead and murder a whole bunch of fairies now, and that shall be grand. So let's have some good drops. Alright, now first match, I suppose. It's a little bit scary actually going through that game, because 2 of those giants in one go is not something I was really expecting. But yeah, we actually get an Adamantite shard in the very first match, which is super good. We actually haven't yet got the Orichalcum shard from this stage, but where am I going anyway? We haven't got that yet, but I know where it is, so we... Alright, Notori gains a level here. So, initial impressions of Notori here, well, I really need to change the shield on Alice. I was trying to use this because I was noticing some of the elemental attacks I wasn't blocking with the diamond shield like all the time, but it's not performing very well in other cases, so yeah. From what I've gathered of Notori at the moment, it seems, apart from the fact that she's going to run out of MP like immediately, she seems to be a pretty good counter to the Garbangles and in general to like warrior magician stuff, of course. She can do a lot of damage in a short space of time. However, her skills are incredibly expensive, so she doesn't generally get too many attacks before you'll have to heal away. But she's also a little bit fragile. That is kind of a big issue that I know I'm using. Wow, that did not do much. I realize I'm using her specific armor, so it's a bit lower defense by, you know, this stage of the game, but it also gives her 15% perfect dodge, which is why I still want to try and use it. But I will admit, it's a little bit weak for where we are, and she could honestly benefit a bit more, I reckon, from something else. But essentially, she's incredible. She's as frail as the magicians at the moment, and she does basically as much damage on the physical side, but she does not last as long in terms of how many battles you can use her for, so that is a bit of a big issue. With that said, Reimu gains another level here too, level 52, pretty solid. Kinda do need to get Reimu up a little bit because I've been neglecting her too much, I feel, in these last few stages. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Alright, in addition to a power level for Alice, we do have another level for Marisa. So, Marisa actually has a lot of HP when you give her the muscle belt. I mean, 150 HP is going to give anybody quite a long ride, but that extra HP really does go a long way to making Marisa survivable. Alright, and Alice gains one more level, all the way up to 62. I guess Alice is just going to have a crazy high level by the end of all this, because I'm probably going to be using her for the next stage as well, spoilers. But yeah, I managed to actually get her growth tree up to max craft. So now she has plus 50% HP from that, instead of the 40 that she had before. Which just means that she survives even more ridiculous punishment than she used to. And there is a rare drop for us there as well, which I was obviously not expecting. And Atomic Kappa should just finish this off anyway, so yeah, do your little Alice Guard thing, make yourself immune to everything, and then Atomic Kappa can go blow up the world with a Slayer effect, and yeah, Element Bullet for water and a Slayer, 11,000 damage, pretty solid, and yeah, Silver Tray for Sakuya. That's really good because I used a ton of Sakuya's stuff during this game, and it's nice to be able to get some of that back, especially because I still need to make her tier 6 sword. I'm thinking on it. And here are 2 more levels for Reimu and Notori, which are good. We need to get the lower level characters up here. So yeah, don't be fooled by Reimu's HP at the moment. She has maxed out like bulk stats because of giving her extra bombs. So yeah, don't know if I like this fight so much. Alright, it's 2 more level ups, one for Sanai to get to 62, pretty good, I've gotta say. Almost getting to that 400 HP mark. It'll probably take another 4 levels to do that, but still pretty solid. And then Sakuya with over 600 HP thanks to the Kusanagi. I always seem to go over the HP stats a lot, but that's because they're kind of important. You know, the character's HP is obviously their survivability, but more than that, it kind of just determines how well they're going to do against particular enemies, you know? Because there are some attacks which will do set damage and, you know, fun stuff like that, and really it just
helps to know exactly where you stand in terms of HP.
Spoilers, kids! If you're doing recording stuff and you pause to take, change party stuff / take a break, do remember to unpause your recording first. Haha, good job I didn't actually come across the enemies I'm looking for here. So, I've changed the party round a bit so that I can go ahead and look for the 2 mini-boss style enemies in this final 4-room set of the dungeon. And as I was doing so, we have a couple more levels, so Yomu gains a level here, and so does Reimu. So yeah, Reimu's still my lowest level character right now, and as a result she is still getting bonus experience, and that's all fine and dandy. But yeah, we've switched the party round because, well, Aya actually does have a significant purpose, we will see soon, and basically Patchouli Yomu seem to me to be my best survival effort otherwise. So, yeah.
Alright, and Patchouli gains another level here, so of course she has a ton of HP at the moment because of the Muscle Belt 4, but again, that item really does help you survive with your magic characters, so it's obviously extremely good to have around. And there is our first level for Aya, so that is pretty good. She doesn't have a whole ton of HP, which is a bit of a problem. Her MP is awful. She has the Magic Ring 4 on at the moment, so that she actually has a reasonable amount of MP should we come across the enemy that I'm actually looking for here. Which I hope we do at some point, because seriously, kinda need to see it. And with that double Yukari kill, we have a level for both Alice and Reimu here, so Alice is definitely decently out ahead as my highest level character now, which is very ironic because I'm pretty sure she was my lowest level character in my original playthrough, so how about that. And then Reimu has made herself up to level 55, so she should be on par now, so now it's just Aya which we need to get leveled up, which is definitely doable. Okay, finally, I do not have too many enemies left in this first section here, so there are 2 mini-bosses, like I've said, for this place. One only appears in the leftmost rooms, one only appears on the rightmost rooms. This is by far the more dangerous of the 2, the Hydra. So Aya is kind of mandatory for taking these on, I feel, because she has one very important trait to bring to the table, and that is in her fan tree, which is why I made the tier 6 fan for her. But just in case it doesn't work out, I do need to still use Marionette because it can use other attacks as well. So, basically Yomu is the only one who's going to be doing significant damage here, but Aya needs to be using this skill every single turn against this monster. Favourable Wind, you need to max out the fan tree in order to get this, but 18 MP usually with 1 cooldown, but if you put enough points into her reporting tree you can cut that cooldown to 0 and the cost in half. This will make sure that any breath attack, like it says there, is reflected for the turn. This monster almost exclusively uses breath attacks. It uses the more powerful versions of the breath attacks, so stuff like Aurora Breath, I can't remember what the fire one is Atomic Breath, I think, but you know, stuff like that, and Arctic Breath, all of those ones. And it uses very large numbers of them per turn. It can attack from anywhere between about 1 and 7 times per turn. So if you do not have this on you, you're just going to get wrecked by the breath attacks immediately. Absolutely mandatory to have this. Patchouli really isn't going to do a whole lot during this fight. I might try Philosopher's Stone every, you know, like one turn or something. And I think I will give Yomu the Azura stance. Basically, Yomu is going to be using Dragon Fang Strike every turn, because obviously it is a dragon. As it is a dragon, it has all the usual resistances and everything that a dragon would have, so it's very resistant to the 4 main elements, it's very resistant to dark. Okay, I guess this one doesn't use the more powerful versions. There is a post-game one that uses the more powerful versions of the attacks, but in addition to that, it has the 999 regen per turn I didn't even get to yet. It has 20,000 HP. And 1k regen per turn. That's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. So yeah, definitely keep Patchouli on nothing. Keep Aya on Favorable Wind every turn. And Dragon Fang Strike away. If you don't have the Kusanagi or any of the sort of dragon slaying stuff, you are probably not going to beat this thing, so I wouldn't even try. But it does have a couple other things up its sleeve, like Tail Chop is something you've just seen there. I believe it can use Fang Strike as well. That happens when the land is in favor of fire, at least in the post-game one. I don't know about this one specifically because I haven't actually fought this one very often. I mean, there's not really much point in doing so for the most part, but it can drop Obsidian as its rare thing. I'm just going to use Philosopher's Stone, we'll see how much damage that does. Probably not a lot, but I may as well use it. But yeah, this thing can drop Obsidian at about a 1% rate, and it drops Trapezohedron significantly more often than that. But it doesn't resist light, so light is another option you can use against it, and it doesn't resist Mystic. So those are kind of your options there. It very strongly resists Stab, and I think it has a partial resistance to Strike. Physical wise, you've really got to go with Slash. There's nothing else that you can do against it that will deal enough damage to outlast it. Because even at 9 MP per turn, you know, this Favorable Wind is not super sustainable, and it can just do physical vanilla stuff, which if that hits Aya too often, then she's kinda screwed, to the point where it would just about be beneficial enough to protect Aya exclusively, but I'm not going to, because then if Yomu gets hit, well, she is kind of screwed as well. So yeah, this is basically what you've got to do against this guy. You have to specialize. Sakuya with her tier 4 sword can work against this guy a bit as well, because that does have a Slayer against dragons, although it may be a bit too weak by now, I don't know. Sakuya herself is really strong though, so it would probably still work. But yeah, this is really the strategy you need to employ against this guy, otherwise I don't think you'll win. I mean, just look at this thing, it's got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freaking heads there, and you've seen it can do just a ridiculous amount of attacks in one turn. And there we go. No drop off it this time, but if you do manage to kill one, it's 5,000 experience, so that's pretty good. And of course Aya's getting lots of bonus experience right now, so that is also pretty good. And her and Sanai are both going to get some levels here, so that's nice. Once Aya hits level 57, that's when her next skill, and arguably her most useful skill in the game, comes up, so that ought to be fun. Also, this is Room R, I believe. There we go, the Auric Alchemy Shard is right there, so
Yeah, I just didn't realise it at first. That's one of the better hidden ones, to be honest. Anyway, now that we've taken on the Hydra, I want to go ahead and find the other monster in this side. And so I shall be back when I do that. Well, at least we get an Earthshard out of the fights as well, so that's kind of cool. I will need Earth Crystals at some point during post-game, should I decide to do that, so yeah, it's nice to have one of them. I will be happy enough getting anything, really. And with another double Yukari Sisters knockout, that's another massive chunk of EXP here, Patchouli and Yomu both gain levels too. I still find it funny how Patchouli in this game has like 51 strength. I have no idea why they included a strength version of, you know, like a physical attack style Patchouli in this game, because that's not her character at all. I guess books are heavy. Anyway, we have a last spell for Yomu here, which we have not had in an awful long time, and this, I think, is the only other last spell that she gets. So, let's take a look at it real quick, because it's actually quite a good one. It has apparently less strength than the previous last spell that we had, you know, the Slash of Spring Wind, but Pascal Moon Reflecting Satellite Slash, always found that a funny name, to be honest. It hits 3 times, and it is not a column attack. It is incredibly powerful though, and it can be used with any stance that you choose, so we will definitely try and show that off somewhat soon. These gut bangles are getting really annoying, because I can't reliably run from a fight which includes them. It's irritating. And with yet another double Yukari Sisters down, they seem to be finding a lot of those in this particular area. Anyway, with another pair down, Aya and dear friend Reimu, who's not really much of a friend, but still, Reimu gains another level as well, which is good. She actually gets a lot of stats out of that one. Thankfully including intelligence, because, you know, magic attack is kind of important. Okay, so here is our second mini-boss-like enemy. It seems that they appear most often in the back 2 rooms. I haven't managed to get a single one to appear in the bottom 2 rooms yet, so I don't know. Anyway, this is a Chimera. Go figure. This guy usually gets 3 or 4 attacks per turn, and it very often uses breath attacks as well, if I remember rightly. So, once again, Favorable Wind should be pretty good here. I don't remember what this guy is weak to, but I'm pretty sure it's not any of the core elements, but I don't really have much else to go with at the moment, so yeah. It is a beast, which does unfortunately mean I don't have Slayer here, so this might actually be the more difficult of the 2 for me to take on with this party.
Because yeah, it's really resistant to water, and it can do a lot of non-breath attacks as well. But most of the non-breath attacks, if I remember rightly, are single target, which means that Aya can basically nullify the really dangerous moves and leave you in a good position against everything else. I'm pretty sure it is really resistant to all of the main elements, but we shall do our best against it here. It's not as durable as the Hydra, but it still has a lot more HP than most of the other stuff around here. However, it is weak to Slash, which is good. I forget exactly all of what it's weak to be honest. I'm sure we'll find out as we go along as well, because yeah. Just make sure you're reflecting breath attacks every turn. I may as well just use Philosopher's Stone now. And why not? We'll show off Moon Reflecting Satellite Slash here, because I do have myself powered up for it. It's actually a pretty cool looking attack. Take a look at this. Like, just the way it sets itself up, and wow, okay, yeah, it it doesn't really stand a chance against that. It's nowhere near as good for experience as the Hydra either, but it does have a very good shield drop, which you may want to get hold of. So we'll just show the stuff for them here, because I don't think I'm gonna do any other fights for this lab. So it only has 11,000 HP compared to the 20,000 of the Hydra over here, and it has no regen whatsoever. So there is that. Yeah, it's weak to both light and dark. Okay, so I should probably have put Silent Selenite on Patchouli instead of Philosopher's Stone. Or I could just have, because the Hydra is not resistant to light, probably could have had Royal Flare and run with that, and that would have been the best idea. But with this thing being weak to Slash and not really having anywhere near enough evasion to take on Yomu, yeah, Satellite Slash is just so good. Yeah, but the Chimera Shield is really nice for defending. I believe it defends physical and then mostly defends against the 4 elements as a mid-weight shield. It's really solid, but I don't know if I want to take more time to try and get it just now. I guess I could, and then I would just be running from any fight which is not the Chimera. Wait, what? The Hydra shows up on this side as well? What? That goes against everything I've ever heard of. Okay. I guess we'll fight the Hydra then, and then I'll probably be done, to be honest. I don't see myself really needing to do too much more with these guys, so I think that's going to be our plan. We'll just beat this Hydra, and then we'll call it a part of that. Because this is already once again approaching the 1 gig mark in terms of file size at this point, so I don't think I need to do much more here. In other news, I don't know if this version of the Hydra actually does Slash. I don't think it actually does light and dark breaths. That is something I haven't seen it do yet, and I know the other one, the post-game one, does light and dark breath attacks, but I don't seem to be seeing them with this guy. So let's just see how much Pascal Slash does to this guy actually, compared to Dragon Fang Strike. Dragon Fang Strike was doing like 5k or 4.5k hit. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. But if it gets a crit, it's definitely more. It's guaranteed to get 3 hits that move, unlike most of the other multi-hit moves that just don't get all their hits for some reason, even though you would think they would. But yeah, this fight should be over within about 3 turns from here, because I'll have another Moon Satellite Slash at that point, which would be great. Ooh. I don't remember if you still get shielded when you're dazed. That's yeah, that'd be a weird thing not to have, but I wonder if that is actually the case, where the Alice shielding stops working when she's dazed. That'd be really annoying, to be honest. But whatever. I want to see if we get any items off of this guy though, because I think Trapezohedron's actually dropped quite a lot from this guy. I think it's, well, comparatively, I think it's like 10% or something. And it's the Obsidian, obviously, is the rare thing that we would like to get, but not exactly holding out hope for that, so yeah. Anyway, this fight is done because Dragon Fang Strike is pretty good. And yeah, no item, but that's fine. Lots of experience, and we do get a level for doing that, so that is good. So level 64. Yeah, Alice is going to be really strong in terms of level stuff by the end of this, but honestly, I don't see that as a particularly bad thing, in the sense of, like, it's not going to break the game at all, because Alice doesn't do attacking. Even if you do give her attack-based stuff, she's not really going to do that much damage. So having Alice with a massively high level only really does two things. I mean, if she gets to beyond level 7, I think it's 73 is when she learns her last skill. It's somewhere around about there. That skill is actually really good, and that would impact the party's defenses a bit. But really all it does is it gives her more survivability. It doesn't really change anything in terms of the damage output of the enemies, because it's not as if having Alice at a higher physical level will give you more defense on your shield. That's not how it works. Anyway, this has been GamerCat playing Touhou, the Genius of Sapphirus, and next time we'll take on Vio, because Viotops has decided she will be the next opponent. So that's what's gonna happen. Till then, take care.